Hunter, you were very suitable temporary me on Movie Dumpster last week.
You're welcome. I had adored myself with the skulls of you, your skeletal remains.
Well, you took the skull back.
I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you wearing the skull on your head like a
I was gonna say,
or whatever the hell they're called?
If you showed up to this hypothetical recording session wearing my skull.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Ask me how I got it.
It's funny. Funny though is because I'm listening to you talk about like the CW stuff and like how we're not doing it, and as you're talking about it, I was just also thinking about the fact that like I just watched a video like on what's going with the Flash, and I was like, I think this is the worst the show has ever been. As you're saying, it got all real bad. Yeah, we stopped doing it.
I love seeing Lou like talk about what's happening in it and being like, I don't have to watch it. It's so wonderful. Like I feel like a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders knowing this fact.
This is the first time I've been like, wow, I don't miss this. Also because Superman and Lois is out, and that's such a fucking breath of fresh air. I look at like the Flash specifically, I'm like, ugh.
I don't have the energy to watch anything. I hear Superman and Lois is good, but if it's not a Marvel show at this point, I don't give a fuck.
Well, and that's the thing with Superman and Lois. Like, there's been very few low points in like the 5 or 6 episodes that have come out, and they managed to maintain a certain level of like compelling drama that it's just good. Like, and then like every once in a while, like he fucking suits up and starts having a big fucking action sequence with some ridiculously superpowered being. And suddenly it looks like it has a Hollywood budget.
Are they going to maintain this drama for the next 16 episodes?
I don't know if it's going that long.
I would imagine the first season is...
Wow, so they might actually learn a lesson here?
Let me see. I can pull it up.
No, they won't.
I mean, they could always put like 18 episodes in the second season and completely ruin it.
Yep. I mean, look who we're talking about. Come on, of course they're going to ruin it. It's what they do.
I mean,
do you mean to tell me that they could fuck this up?
No.
It's going to be 15 episodes. That's it.
Okay.
That's not too.
I mean, that's not that bad.
That's kind of nearly a sweet spot.
Yeah, they should go for 8 or 10, but 15 is much better than 22 fucking episodes.
15 is fine. Yeah, I mean. And I remember back when we were in heat of talking about this stuff, the response to why they didn't want to cut episodes was, well, we pay our writers less if we cut episodes. But, like, just add more shows, which seems to be their actual strategy is just more shows, so those writers have more opportunities. But, like, I don't know, like...
Or, hey, guy, pay your writers better.
Right. I mean, you could do that. You know, you could. I mean, you could just pay them what you would have paid them for 22 episodes because
do a better job. That costs money.
If
we
they
have
do
all
that,
this money.
If they do that, they can't buy another Porsche or whatever.
Or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Yeah, they can't buy another Lamborghini Countach.
Yeah, and the big thing about Superman and Lois that I've noticed is not present is like the Arrowverse cattiness that everyone always had, which is like when everyone like when a character will randomly get super shitty for an episode because they have to manufacture some form of like really surface level drama. But this is because it's very much like magnified on Clark and his family. Like all that stuff is much more interesting.
Well, the cattiness was a cry for help from both the writers and the actors. It wasn't intended to be in there. Yeah, it wasn't intended to be there. But when they get to episode 18 and there's been no plot development for that character, it's just like, you know what?
Right. They have to wait 3 whole episodes. They're like, yeah.
God, that was vicious, but it's hysterical.
Well, it's the truth. Speaking as someone who survived through a small part of that war. Yeah.
And
I haven't
it's only
taken
more apparent when you go back and watch older TV. Like 26 episode seasons.
Yeah. I still maintain that the first season of Flash is pretty excellent. There's some low points, but I think altogether. It's really fun. And I haven't taken the full dive into Stargirl yet, but everything I've seen from Stargirl is just as impressive as Superman and Lois. So
Stargirl is awesome.
Yeah.
I watched
Stargirl
it.
That's what I've
Stargirl is Stargirl is fantastic. It's just the right amount of episodes for the amount of story that they had. There's only a few moments of like, why did you do that contrived thing? Why? You didn't need that. Very, very small little stuff. But it really works as a show. Yeah, like I think TV is just moving in general more in that direction. I feel like they're moving all that stuff to HBO, which is a good choice because the expectations are very different, and the commercials that you have to work around for Boost Mobile or whatever aren't going to be there.
What about all the Joker phones we gotta buy?
Well, that comes later. After they figured out which Joker they're going to put on the phone.
Well, and,
Put
I
all
think if
of
HBO,
them on.
if HBO Max could like really get all their fucking DC ducks in a fucking row, and this is also goes to Warner Brothers, like they stand to be like a legitimate like threat to Disney Plus because you're offering very similar, content. And like I don't think HBO Max has like strong ass franchises like Disney Plus does, because you open Disney Plus, you're like, Jesus, like guys own fucking everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspects to that. They haven't cultivated most of the brands that they own. I would argue that a lot of the people behind said brands have self-destructed or ruined the brand in some way or form.
No.
Yes.
No.
And I could go down the list,
For when?
but I won't.
Well, I think a lot of it
a
too.
certain Lady Joanne definitely did not ruin a certain franchise about a wizard boy for anyone. That never happened.
I also think a lot of it is that HBO Max launching felt a lot like a reactionary thing to Disney Plus, and they didn't have everything ready as well as they should have. And I mean, you could argue the same thing with Disney Plus, that they didn't have all their shit together because they still had a lot of Marvel movies that were like, oh well, no, they're still under contract to be on Stars or wherever the fuck they are at this point.
I just want to add that are you somehow saying that Warner Brothers has a history with launching streaming services that may not be ready? What are you talking about?
It's more that they react, they don't actually plan.
Yes. Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
A lot of these companies don't
actually
plan.
if you
they don't. Yeah.
If you go by an interview from I think Chris Terrio recently, he basically said the executives at Warner Brothers were like, it has to come out in this order and we don't care how it happens. And they're like, well, why don't we do it this way? They're like, no, this. They're like, just do it and we don't care how.
Bye.
Bye.
That Terrio interview, it just reaffirmed so many of my suspicions of what I'm calling the roller coaster man era of Warner Brothers. And all of them are just so incredibly correct. Like my assumption that I had kind of started to develop after watching Justice League is that Zack never actually wanted to make his movies all that dark, and that might be more of a studio thing than I had ever assumed before. Yeah. Chris Terrio.
I think they hired Zack to do what he does, which is make that kind of movie, and then he made that kind of movie. They're like, oh my god, what are you doing?
Yes, but I think he encouraged the absolute darkest things from him.
Yeah.
Like they encouraged him to go further than he would have otherwise. Because I can't remember the exact stuff that Chris Terrio said or his exact quote, but there was a quote about how he wanted BVS to be darker. He wanted you to see more of the violence of the African village getting killed. Like even more than what's in the
that would have been a terrible thing to do.
Yes. Like just the studio wanted a lot of things that he was like, no. What are you talking about? No, you can't put that in a movie about Superman.
Christopher, we need you to have a pod where one of the natives sticks their penis inside of Jimmy Olsen's eye socket. Just do it. Just do it. I don't care how it happened.
If you can't show it,
it's
just
how
at
it
least
needs to
say
happen.
that it happened.
Just have that.
Your
have
one
that
F-bomb will
broad-
be allowed in the form of the word skull fuck.
Have
Meanwhile,
that
Chris
broad
is-
Louise or Lois or whatever the fuck her name is. Have her say, "Oh God, I can't believe they're fucking Jimmy Olsen in the eye socket. This is horrible." Print it.
Meanwhile, Chris Terrios. So where is Mr. Sujihara? Cut to Sujihara in his office, fucking Charlotte Kirk, just
I'm
banging
up
out,
here.
just right there.
I'm up at the top.
Hold on, I'm about
I'm
to go
becoming
through a loop.
I'm becoming Eskimo Brothers with the director of Hellboy.
Oh God. Let's no.
So much
It's
fun.
my favorite topic. It's my
That's
favorite
meme.
topic because it's
He
so
was the
insane.
director of The Descent. He was the director of Dog Soldiers.
He's the director of Hellboy now, Eric. That's who he is now.
No.
No,
If I don't-
here's
if I
the
don't
thing. I
see a movie-
agree.
If I don't see a movie, I can pretend it doesn't exist. Therefore, he is still the director of Dog Soldiers and The Descent.
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
Fair enough. Fair
Is
enough.
he gonna finally finish Game of Thrones? Is that what's gonna happen?
Hey, you know what?
You know,
They're
speaking of-
really teasing people, and people are taking it the exact wrong way. They're like,
I-
reshoot the season 8. You should put new
That
episodes out,
is-
3 episodes, and you can fix it.
I love that there's
Ugh.
two contingencies of fans of a Warner Brothers product who are demanding like lots of unnecessary things from this property.
Well, it's almost like Warner Brothers opened a terrible Pandora's box.
Reshoot the whole season. No, 6 months later. Here comes the new Game of Thrones season 8.
Just, hey, I am happy with the way the Snyder Cut of Justice League turned out, but
Right.
kind of giving in to the fans' demands might not have been the best precedent to set.
Here's the thing. It's the slippery slope argument, but we all hate the slippery slope argument. So none of us want to say slippery slope argument. But that's what this is. This is the slippery slope. The problem is that eventually you get to the point where Disney is like, let's just remake the prequel trilogy.
Oh, no.
let's just redo it and replace it. Like that is sort of where the end game of this box goes to.
That's what like those crazy ass Star Wars fans want too. Is they want like erasure of certain things that have already happened just to make new ones.
Like the women.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, I know they have like what seems like an infinite amount of money, but nobody in the world is gonna like just dump that much cash on remaking 3 fucking movies. Are you kidding me? Because you're butthurt about it, how it happened 20 years ago. No.
Yeah.
I will say I do love the marketing tactic of like reminding people of Game of Thrones and everyone being like, "Shut the fuck up! What are you doing?"
Yeah, before I chose to watch Inside Man tonight, like I was looking through HBO, and did I see the advertisements correctly saying like celebrate the Iron Anniversary of Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
I
only watched
trying
the
to
first 2
celebrate
seasons. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
trying to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the show premiering is kind of dumb. I understand wanting to do it, but I feel like you should read the room and be like, nobody wants this. Nobody wants you to do this right now. Everybody's still kind of hurt over this.
They'd
you
rather you
were
quietly
one of
go in
the
a
bad
corner.
endings. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, in that year you had a lot of franchises end really badly. You had one franchise end extremely well, but you had a bunch of them just flaming out horribly. I don't understand.
I feel like I think that last season is a special kind of bad because it just it just gets exponentially worse with every episode and starts off with you're like, wait a minute, hold on, this is weird and dumb and I don't like it, and like by the next episode you're like, hold on, this is weirder and worse, and then by the end you're like, oh fuck every one of you. And it's been said 100 times, but like I can't believe it was so bad that people were like, this show no longer exists, and we decided that as a culture.
Yeah.
We live in a society where we decided that Game of Thrones no longer exists.
Yeah.
It's all because those fucking spinoffs are supposed to be happening, right?
And
well, the spinoffs keep dying. They keep like getting aborted.
You know what?
Like 2 months in.
Eric,
oh,
go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I wasn't saying anything.
Okay.
You only seen seasons 1 and 2. That's actually a pretty.
And I saw half of season 3.
Okay.
And then because I'm a curmudgeon and particular in my viewing habits, I couldn't deal with the zeitgeist of Game of Thrones.
Fair
so
enough.
I had to drop it. I had to drop it because that was all everybody was talking about all the time at work, and I'm like, I can't do this.
I will say
I'll give you
go ahead, Arlen.
No, I was gonna say I'll give you the credit of I was kind of out of it in season 3 until the Red Wedding happened, basically. Until
that happened in season 3.
Yes.
Then I watched all season 3. All right. Then it was season 4 I didn't see.
Yeah,
that's a really tight viewing experience for Game of Thrones, because the first, while there's still book material, that show is popping off left and right as far as like just being generally good.
I've been saying to anybody who wants to check it out, just stop at season 4. After season 4 is when it all gets really bad.
Everybody who's ever watched that show or wants to like experiment with it needs to watch Hard Home, and like that's mandatory. If that's the only episode you watch, please watch Hard Home.
Yeah, definitely.
Hard Home is where shit hits the fan, and like it's the scariest zombies have been on TV in forever. And like that show suddenly jerks the plot forward with some ridiculous development, and then the dark times came.
Again, season 5 was kind of boring to me, and then Hard Home happened, and I was like, oh, you have my attention again.
Eric, Hard Home is, I can't remember. Here's the thing: the context of the rest of the episode is fucking bollocks. Who cares? John goes to recruit a bunch of people in like the wildlings from the village, and the fucking ice zombies attack, and it's like a 15-minute siege of enemies who can't be killed, who are chopping people down, who come right back up, and then John has to fight one of the White Walkers, and he just kills it in one shot.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't that episode directed by the guy who had the stink of Roller Coaster Man on his hangdown?
Maybe. No,
I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was Neil Marshall.
It might have been him.
That would explain why the horror elements work so fucking well, because
it's either him or it's the guy who did it's the guy who directed most of season 8. Miguel Chapat. I can't pronounce that name.
Say it.
I can't pronounce it.
Do it.
Sapochnik. I can't even get it out. I can't.
Neil Marshall directed Blackwater and Watchers of the Wall.
Yeah. The two most notable guys are him and the guy who directed Thor: The Dark World.
Everyone's favorite.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that movie is very pretty. The cinematography is very good.
I don't even hate that movie. I just think it's funny to shit on it.
Yeah, no, I don't hate it that much either. But...
Yeah, it's the most forgettable MCU movie outside of Jokey Loki. That's where he debuts. Also, that Chris Evans fucking moment is brilliant.
Yes, it is.
I don't know how I feel about Game of Thrones spinoffs, though. I think the wound is still too fresh. The only one I really wanted was one set during Robert's Rebellion, which I think would be fucking awesome.
I've never been into that idea. I've never been into that.
I think it's because I want to see the cinematic equivalent of them telling the story about how he fucking smashes that Targaryen shithead in the water with his fucking hammer. I just want that moment on screen.
So here's the thing. Everything that I know about the Robert's Rebellion stuff is supposed to be kind of not equivalent, but similar to World War II in the sense that it's a situation in which within that world, everybody was like, no, this is bad. And we're all on the side of good right now. There is no like infighting in the same way. No like weird, like, even the good guys are kind of bad and even the bad guys have a little bit of good in them, which is kind of what the whole show is about. And I think that would be interesting as like a mini series. I don't know if I want a whole show.
Oh yeah, no, a limited engagement is perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's everyone going like, "Wow, these Targaryens are kind of fucked up."
Yeah, let's get rid of them.
They marry their cousins and brothers. What?
Unless they are able to undercut that and still make it compelling to watch. Because the other thing would be worrying about how that makes you feel rewatching the original show. But again, who cares anymore about that? So I'm more
finished the first show anyways. So
I think, I mean, this is somebody who never watched all of the series, but I think if the series would have ended well, it would have been a surefire hit. But at this point, people who were fans of the show don't want anything to do with it anymore. I don't hear anybody I knew who I worked with who was really into it say a single goddamn thing about it. I think it's dead in the water.
It retroactively ruins so many things and makes all new problems that don't get solved in the last season of a fucking show. It dismisses series long plots and just hand waves them away. It betrays years of character development and just forces all these characters in these stupid positions, and it's so fucking disappointing.
Yeah.
Huh, it's almost like they should have actually hired people who are competent to do the show.
No.
Well,
come on, the writer of X-Men Origins Wolverine deserves more credit.
Yeah. No, he should have quit. That's the thing. They both should have quit.
Nope.
They should have quit.
Nope.
They should have given the reins over to Brian Cogman, who because of the anniversary was really just airing some laundry on Twitter. I saw he was like, I don't work for these people anymore, so I can say whatever the fuck I want. which was a nice thing to hear. But he was angry because they were doing these anniversary lists, and he was like, did the people who made these lists watch the show? They care about anything that happened in the show? So he put out his own anniversary lists for people who wanted to do a rewatch. So yeah, people go follow Brian Cogman because he's a fun guy. He's an interesting dude.
Boy, it certainly feels like there's a wave of just bad sentiment that gets thrown towards Warner Brothers lately. I can't imagine why.
It's almost like they're bad.
Yeah.
Well, and then we had a thing with Dominic Purcell today leaving Legends because he's basically like, fuck these cunts, I'm out of here, and just left.
I was wondering about that because I couldn't really get the whole context based on what he wrote in that Instagram post that somebody had shared in the
chat. What I can gather from other sources, he had he just thinks the studio is basically treating him like shit. Had a big disagreement with them and just fucking walked out. He didn't get released like Ralph did. He just quit.
Well, you don't treat Dracula like that. Come on now.
You don't treat McLeod like that, okay?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The picture that was with that, is that what he's like now? Did he just decide to drink nothing but milkshakes for the last 2 years?
He did that all in 2 days. He's like, I've been drinking nothing but milkshakes and eating nothing but pizza.
Yeah. Oh, you mean protein shakes? What now?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a funny ass picture though with his fucking gut hanging out. Yeah, I guess I don't know. The people running that section aren't that great either.
It's almost like things are imploding.
I've heard bad things about CW. Yeah, I've heard bad things about various divisions of that company and the people who run it. That it's not a great place. It's a lot of real assholes. It's much closer to our character than we thought.
I feel like ever since what's his fucking face, the bad touch guy who is like
Kreisberg.
Flash.
That doesn't narrow it down, Eric.
Oh well, yeah, the main one. I feel like ever since he got exposed, it's been eroding everything within that aspect of Warner Brothers, and it's now exposing more of the disease than people realized was actually there.
Yeah, and if you look at Ubisoft as an example, if there's one, there's probably more. They're like roaches.
Yeah. I mean, my feeling about this is that this is all the real corporate people. These are the people who care a lot about advertising and just money, and they don't actually watch the shows that they produce whatsoever. And I feel like they've been getting more and more involved with the CW DC stuff as that stuff has become more and more successful and more important to the company. Because as we learned in like a Vanity Fair interview, they are really like putting DC at like the front of their plans from the sounds of it versus versus what it was versus where it was. Well, that's the thing. Before, I don't think that they cared. A journalist from way back who doesn't really work in that space anymore, something he said was like, DC stuff isn't their main goal. They produce so many other movies. So they don't really put it at that high of a priority versus Marvel, where that's all they do. They have all these other things, all these other irons in the fire. And DC is just like small change to them. It's another thing that they do to make money, but it's not their main source of income. And I think we're seeing a real shift away from that idea where DC is going to be like the centerpiece of what Warner Brothers deals with going forward. At least that's the understanding.
I mean, I don't understand why it's, it almost feels like the people who own this shit aren't very proud of it and are kind of ashamed by it and just kind of do, a half measure every time.
Why would they be ashamed? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, I think it's something that Arlen's been saying for a while, is that they at Warner Brothers, they haven't had a Kevin-like figure to like be like, no, this is good. This will make you money. And I love this. Like, and they have somebody coming in purportedly, but I feel like it's 5 to 10 years too late. Like they've set up a certain expectation and quality level with a lot of their DC properties, and it's hard to make a U-turn from that. Like,
and if you want a very clear picture of how like the damage that was done, look at Harley Quinn's opening weekend take. That movie ate shit really fucking hard.
Yes, that was. I would put that on advertising, but still, like, that didn't help anything. They've just. It's like Lucy and the football and Charlie Brown and all that stuff. It's the same. It's just over and over again, different mistakes that still trip them up. Like, they finally put a person in charge to put everything together, and that person was Jeff Johns. And look at Ray Fisher's comments if you want to know more about that.
Oh wait, the guy who has a black wife or black ex-wife, was it, and an Asian wife? He can't be racist. Yeah.
No, never. That can't.
I was in a room with a black guy once. How could I be racist?
I listen to the rap.
My grandfather is North African, so clearly I'm not racist.
God. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm kind of shocked to find that out about Jeff Johns, because I've enjoyed a lot of his stuff. So it's like, oh no, like you're just good when you were left to not talk. Like, just you stay in that area and leave everyone else alone.
He's good when he's a creator, like, almost specifically, because his comic work I fucking love. I love Flashpoint. Yeah. I love actually his like Flash trilogy. I love. Then you put him on as like a head or an executive or a producer or like, the creative control guy, or the fuck his position is. Clearly he's not cut out for it. And I don't know how he's still maintained this position.
I don't.
This has been going on since Green Lantern, hasn't it?
Well, wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking to me, because as somebody who was very disappointed in the way that they handled New 52, and just everything that him and Didio did, everything that they did once they were in charge,
forgot
it
about
was
Didio.
Just bad choices every step of the way. First of all, just doing New 52 in the first place, and then basically immediately turning around and being like, that didn't do what we hoped, so we're gonna just no more. That's gone. We're gonna do this thing that's gonna bring all the old continuity back, and cancel all the books that people
you have to be more specific at which particular instance this is, of them being like, the old canon is back.
Yeah, because I mean, I know one of the things they kind of had to do because they were changing offices, like they were moving from New
Right.
York to California. And I mean, that's still no excuse for a poorly planned and executed anything
Yeah.
within the comic world because, you have months and months and months and months and months and months to plan these things out. But
Yeah.
still, it gives them some excuse for why things didn't work out exactly the way they wanted to, but it's still a pile of shit.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if you take months and months and months to prepare, then you can be like Doomsday Clock and take months and months and months and years and years and years to actually come out.
Oh god, yeah.
Remember that shit? Remember Rebirth? Wow.
And that's
Yeah.
I forgot Rebirth happened. Holy shit!
Yeah. Rebirth. That was the one where they were like, "No, New 52 isn't a thing anymore." It's like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
Going so far as to have the New 52 Superman die in Rebirth, like immediately.
It's
Well, what is the new thing? It's like Future Slate or whatever.
Yeah,
Actually, so
it's
Future State looks interesting because there's like a Red Hood I think series. There's
it's
a
a big
Batman
hat,
one
I
where
saw.
or what's his face? Fox's kid is the new Batman. There's a few others that have an interesting premise, and like some of the new the designs for those costumes is fucking rad. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about the whole thing.
I mean, that's the thing though, like it can be a cool concept and it can be cool costume designs, but they don't ever carry through on making it a cool story.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's been years since I've given a shit about like a mainline DC series other than like Snyder's Batman.
Yeah, no, after he left, I was like, fuck this company.
Well, I mean, Tom King is supposed to be good, but I just haven't gotten around to reading any of his Batman yet. Like I've heard.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's awesome. I don't like certain arcs that were pretty popular in King's Run. But like
Mhm.
there's an issue I think written by him that's just about Batman and Superman. No, it's Bruce and Clark with Selena and Lois just going to the fair and dressing up as each other to just goof off.
Oh,
Oh.
I mean, yeah,
It's fucking
that
awesome.
sounds fun.
And it ends with Batman betting he can hit a pitch from Superman. And he
Jesus.
does.
Christ.
I was imagining that then 30 people were killed.
And then he's like,
Completely
they had
by
to die.
accident. Completely by accident.
Batman created an asteroid with a small baseball.
Well, no, I just mean like Superman throwing a pitch and like Batman missing it, and then it just barrels through people. Like a child 2 counties over is just his head is vaporized. Like that's no Batman. Stop
His
it.
younger sibling becomes a Superman villain later
Exactly.
I should now become Brightburn.
And John Kent comes out and tells him you have to let the people die.
Exactly.
They're burning all the resources.
Johnny's just like, good job, son.
Yeah, he crawls in from DC deceased and just tells him, good.
I'm glad you brought that up because like the other problem I'm having with DC is I look at like everything going on. I'm like, there's just too much shit, and also like they come up with something that's kind of like a cool gimmick or like a themed character like the Batman who laughs, kind of a cool character, really fucking cool design. And then he just
here's 300 issues.
He just sticks around for an obnoxious amount of time and just becomes this like franchise villain. I'm like, no, stop it.
Yeah,
I kind of respect
but don't
that.
you want Funko Pops of him? Don't you want all of them? Just a room full of Funko Pops of the Batman who laughs.
Video game about the Batman who laughs.
Yes, yeah, that'd be great.
And they did the same thing with like the Dr. Manhattan appearance and influence. Like his fucking, why is Dr. Manhattan still having an effect in the DC universe to this day?
Because money.
Yeah. Because they want to piss off Alan Moore. That's why they're doing it. Because they have to. I don't know how the deal works. I mean, I know Watchmen has to be continued to be printed for them to maintain the rights to it, but I think it also means then anything. Oh yeah, you didn't know about that, Arlen?
No, I did not know that was a thing. But
yeah,
their choices make sense, but I still hate them.
Yeah, as long as the original 12 issues of Watchmen is continually in print, it will never revert to Alan Moore. And I kind of think that's why they keep doing stuff that's Watchmen adjacent in one way or another, just so they can be like, and now the 15th and a half anniversary of the 25th anniversary of the 30th anniversary of Watchmen is coming out in hardcover.
What the fuck was that prequel series?
Before Watchmen?
Before Watchmen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this. As long as it means the show exists, I assume that plays into it.
Yeah.
Fine. I
Yeah,
guess.
I know. It was one great thing out of all of that, and the Snyder adaptation. Fuck anybody who says it wasn't good, because it actually was.
Here's the thing: I haven't rewatched it, but I just assume that I'm gonna find problems with it if I do.
I don't know, because it's such a straight adaptation of the comic.
Yeah, he's
like
slavish to the material.
Yeah,
it is, but
it's pretty good. It's
the thing I've heard from other people who have given it a rewatch, and again, I haven't, so maybe I would feel differently, is that yes, it's slavish, but it still manages to get a lot of the themes wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
like
Snyder,
and
goofs.
that is a problem for me, specifically with Watchmen. Any other thing, I would be like, okay, whatever. If you get the themes of Watchmen wrong, I'm gonna have a bit more of an issue with that. More than anything else, you can get the characters of Watchmen for the most part wrong, but if you misunderstand what it was ultimately about, that's a little bit more troublesome for me. But I don't know.
No, I completely understand that, and yeah, the most glaring thing is like having Rorschach just scream like, "Do it!" and Dan falls to his knees. Like, no,
the thing he did is that he cared so much about these characters that it kind of comes through the screen, and they're all far less shitty than they are on the page. Rorschach, especially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, which is a problem, I would say.
He might even say lines verbatim from the comic that make him look like a piece of shit, but in the movie, I can't recall a single instance where I was like, "Wow, I can't believe he said that offensive thing."
That's the thing, because they painted Rorschach in a oh yeah, he's he might be mentally unstable, but isn't he cool?
He's not incel Jesus. He's not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, and that's something Alan Moore has said, is like, when people would come up to him when Watchmen was coming out and be like, "Oh, I love Rorschach," he'd always be like, "Why?" He's my vision of what comic book fans are. These terrible smelly bastards that don't understand what's going on around them. That's paraphrasing quite a bit, but yeah, I understand that, Arlen. I can completely understand your viewpoint on it, but I still think it's a good adaptation of the comic.
It's good. I'm not. I know I won't hold up on a pedestal or anything, but it's
no.
I don't like V for Vendetta that much. I'll
the book or the movie?
The movie. I don't care for the movie that much.
Yeah,
I'll put it above that for sure.
I mean, that's not hard. The movie is actually a worse. I think that's a worse thing of the same problem. Where I don't think the movie understood the book at all. I don't think the movie got the point of any of it.
People misinterpreting Alan Moore's work. You jest.
Well, I will give V for Vendetta a pass, because within the first 20 minutes, it doesn't have a rape scene, which the comic does within the first 10 pages or so.
That's fair, but the comic does have the dictator masturbating to robots, or to computers, to be specific, which is a little thing that I love that is gone from the movie, because I wanted to see John Hurt masturbate while stroking a computer. That would have been so good.
I'm almost there. Somebody picked up the phone.
Don't open the door. I'm not done yet. What that movie needs?
We need more tissues.
It needs a subplot involving Batman fucking Batgirl and being like, "Hey, don't call me."
Oh, God.
Speaking of tarnishing Alan Moore's work, I couldn't wait to bring this up as soon as the conversation is rolling along.
Can you believe? Learning that Bruce Timm is just like a giant perv shouldn't have been a surprise, seeing as I own the Bruce Timm art book, which is just him being a perv for 200 pages.
Yes.
But
Well, which art book do you own? Because that thing's actually, if it's the one I'm thinking of, that one's actually out of print and worth quite a bit.
is it out of print now? Yeah, I mean, it might be a newer edition, but it's the one. It's all the like
Naughty
pinup
and Nice
versions
or
of
something like
different.
that.
Yeah, naughty. Yeah. I got
Yeah.
one of the last copies at my local shop, which I think is still open. Thankfully enough.
Oh, hey,
yeah.
Legitimately called it Naughty or Nice.
Naughty and
It's
Nice, I think.
Naughty and Nice girls of Bruce Timm's work, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just him doing pinup versions of different characters.
I fucking
hate
that. Yes. I mean, it's a good book, and he knows how to draw some ladies, but like the fact that he brought it into an animated movie, adapting Alan Moore stuff is just. And apparently that was something that they always wanted to do. It was like we always wanted to write a story kind of like this for our Batman show that is aimed squarely at children and not just yeah.
Isn't it amazing that Harley Quinn ended up being one of the best DC shows the last 5 years and like does some really ridiculous shit and still heartfelt and has sincere emotions throughout both of its seasons?
No, it needs an art book called Naughty and Nice.
Naughty and Nice, the good girl art of Bruce Timm.
So just pictures of Bane.
Yes, it is.
I'm enjoying this.
Oh, it's a thinker though. They're not going to understand it.
I like when the ladies scissor.
Yes, that's what it is, Eric. That is the one.
Oh God, no.
Hey, you've got $700 sitting there. Oh, okay.
No.
Is that a soft cover version of it?
I think it is. That's the version that I have.
Okay. Well, it's the hardcover that goes for a lot. So.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Bruce Timm is a good artist, and like,
he is.
But it's just real weird that he's like a creep.
That second cover makes me so uncomfortable, and I don't know what it is. Wow. Hard to recover from that.
Yeah, it's Savage Dragon-esque.
I wouldn't go that far.
I forgot that was a thing. You know, he teamed up with the Ninja Turtles once? Or a few times, actually.
Did he come all over him?
I'm surprised he didn't at this point.
April O'Neil showed up.
Years
and
before.
Not the character.
Yeah, years before my innocence was shattered regarding that fucking franchise. There was a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there were toys. They also had a Wildcats cartoon that was on USA, if I remember correctly. Yeah, God, it wasn't good. None of them were very good. I remember watching them on a semi-regular basis and being like, "This is shit."
Yeah, I didn't even as a kid, I didn't like him as a character. Like when the show came out, I was like, "Yeah, I'm good."
That was the thing. Like I knew about like all these artists leaving Marvel to go start their own thing. I'm like, oh, this could be cool. You know, Spawn looks neat. And like now I look back on like Todd McFarlane's artwork and I'm kind of like, unless it's Spider-Man, I don't give a shit. Even then I'm kind of like, I don't know. Like he did some cool things, but it just at the time, like they seemed like edgy and cool characters in the 90s. So, you know, I was all of 13 or so when they came out. So of course I was into watching it and it was all bad and not worth anybody's time.
Yeah.
Now I have to go back into my tomb.
There was also a Toxic Avengers Saturday morning cartoon. Can you believe that shit?
Yeah, that's
you know.
I mean, we all know my favorite of those cartoons.
Good old Uncle Lloyd.
The Swamp Thing cartoon.
Wait, what was that, Hunter?
Good old Uncle Lloyd.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Hey, you know, whatever. Good for him. I hope he made some money off of that.
Me too, man.
Yeah. Yeah, because they actually had toys of the Swamp Things, or not Swamp Things, Jesus, the Toxic Avengers cartoon.
Yes, I thought. Oh yeah, Toxic Avengers or Toxic Crusaders. I thought it was
Toxic Crusaders. You're right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they probably couldn't use Avengers because probably Marvel was going.
Yeah. You know, you know what else had a Saturday morning cartoon show? Mortal Kombat, and it is quite bad.
God,
There's
what's
an
the point?
episode. There's an episode around Jax being hurt that Sonya calls him blubberbutt because he was a fat kid in high school. That's the plot.
You guys ever
Cool.
seen the Battle Toads?
What?
That was
not kidding you.
that was
There was a Battle Toads cartoon.
yeah, it was right on the time Biker Mice from Mars aired, wasn't it? It was in the same neighborhood.
So yeah.
Yeah. I just
Would this also be around the time that the Cowboys of Moo Mesa existed?
Yeah.
What is that?
It is about anthropomorphic cows that are cowboys. And there's actually a really cool Konami game.
That is like that's the end of the concept of like let's take animal and make it stand upright and be cool. Like you get to cows, you're like, and this is Jumps the Shark.
Yeah, there's one that I think is wearing like what looks like cowhide, like whatever I forget what the things are called, the chaps. It looks like he's wearing cowhide chaps, which is really bizarre because if the other cows are anthropomorphic, does that mean he murdered one and skinned
he's wearing his legs?
Yes, exactly. No, there's actually a really good a Konami arcade game though based on it that was kind of like Sunset Riders, but it was Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Interesting.
Yeah, worth looking up and legally downloading because you obviously already own the game, right? Right?
Of course.
I would
yes.
never do anything illegal.
No. How's that Raspberry Pi treating you?
Don't worry about it. What's that? I love pie.
I am suddenly reminded of the surge of Power Rangers-esque shows from the 90s that came after that show. Some of them I've forgotten about, like the Mystic Knights of Tiranogue. And what was it? Superhuman Samurai, Cyber Squad, and there was like one more, I think.
There was the Tattooed
Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills.
Yes. Yeah.
And all of them the same like weird butt rock opening, and they would just shout like the plot of the show at you.
Well, which was it was Beetleborgs. That was the one that had the Jay Leno ghost.
Yes.
Yeah, and Dracula and Frankenstein and I think the Wolfman.
Yeah, and everybody, all those serial mascots. There's a episode of Power Rangers called Forever Red where they bring in all the Red Rangers and they just to pad out the villains, they just stick people in Beetleborg costumes and refer to them as different characters. I can't believe it actually happened.
It's fucking awesome.
It is really good.
They're just like
it's really good.
There's a Beetleborg. That's not a Beetleborg. That's this new villain, General blah blah blah. It's like no, that is the fucking Beetleborg.
Like that is the best way to approach that problem, especially for Power Rangers. It's like fuck it.
We just got these costumes lying around.
They just beat up their contemporaries.
Right.
So did during the time period that all of these Power Rangers-esque shows were coming out, were they all just using Japanese TV shows that were basically the same idea?
Some were, some weren't. I believe
all the Saban stuff I think was essentially that. I don't know about other companies.
Beetleborgs was the first one they filmed new footage for.
Oh, good.
Like
well, that was
yeah.
The lasting legacy of the Beetleborgs.
I just know the name, and I know that I did watch them, but I don't remember a single goddamn thing about it.
I can't recall a single moment from that show. And like I can recall stuff from VR Troopers and the original Power Rangers run, but nothing from Beetleborgs.
I was just about to bring up VR Troopers. Holy shit, what a stupid show.
I think that show is actually pretty cool and compared to like other stuff they put out, and I kind of like the way it was presented, but like, yeah, those fight scenes are the cheapest looking things I've ever seen.
Which one was the show that had Joey Lawrence's younger brother in?
Oh, Superhuman Samurai, Cyber Squad.
Oh, that was what. Okay, I knew there was something with electronics involved, but I couldn't remember.
Yes, the boy has to go into the computer.
Yeah. Oh, why is it all porn? This is horrible. What has Dad been looking at?
I stumbled into the wrong AOL chat room. Help! Help!
The computer has to be seized by the FBI.
Gary Glitter is here! Oh no!
Fighting the horror of the gapers. Oh no!
We recovered your cyborg friend from a computer over there. He's traumatized.
Oh, actually, that would actually be really great if somebody with who had some sort of comedic writing skills actually took one of those shows, like that idea, and then just made it the most horrific stuff ever. It sounds something like something on Adult
You mean
Swim,
like
where
Reboot or Tron, but they go into the internet and it's just this like awful, debaucherous, sticky, gross
Mhm.
place. And
yes,
Oh,
yes,
I would love that.
yeah.
Like if the guys who wrote Psycho Goreman made something like that,
Hell
oh my
yeah.
god.
Which, yeah, thank you for posting that earlier. That it's coming to a Shudder. What in
In
May?
May?
Yes.
It just said May. I don't know when, but I'm very happy because I didn't buy that movie, but I want to see it again because oh my god.
Yeah,
There are
I
so
need to.
many
Yeah.
I keep doing Tubi roulette and like right before I fall asleep. And man, I've seen some real garbage lately.
Oh no. Oh no.
Like
Well,
when you just let Tubi just play a movie after one you've watched that's already just like reprehensible trash. Like the rabbit hole you go into is like awful, but at the same time hilarious.
so wait, does it work like Facebook or YouTube where it just keeps playing the next thing?
Yes.
Oh no.
That's
So it's
bad.
like
That's automatically
it's like
bad.
nesting dolls of trash. Like it just can't.
If it's anything like what the YouTube algorithm does, where eventually if you just let it keep playing, it brings you to Nazi videos, I can only imagine.
Yeah, I was gonna say all roads lead to white supremacy. So
All roads lead to PragerU, apparently.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Although when I watched the movie Mother's Day, the movie that came on right afterwards was I Spit on Your Grave 2, and I thought that was kind of a leap.
why?
I was like, whoa.
Why does a sequel to that movie exist?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with the first movie.
So why even call it I Spit on Your Grave 2?
Because it's a long-running horror franchise, Eric.
Eric, I'll give you guess why it's called Spit on Your Grave 2.
Because people rape a woman a whole lot in it, like they did in the first one.
Yeah. Because money and people are fucking gross.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
That's the thing, though. I thought there was like more than a sequel to I Spit on Your Grave.
There's like 3 or 4 of those movies that are like newer, I guess,
Oh,
sequels, because they have the remake and they have sequels to the remake.
Yeah, I looked this up once and I forgot everything that I learned when we did this. But yeah, there's at least like 7 of those
Oh
movies
god,
That is way too many.
Oh god,
wow. There's 2 Last Houses on the Left movie, and that is enough. Like,
no, they were good at one.
Yeah, they were really good at one.
They were.
Yeah, that's like saying, "Oh yeah, there's a Sallow sequel." Like, no.
Oh no.
No. Oh hey, here's a Serbian Tale Part 3. Why?
Wait, there's a part 2?
No,
Oh.
no, I'm just going to the natural conclusions. No, I've never even seen a Serbian Tale. I've only read the Wikipedia article about it.
Joe has told me all about it.
I am set for life, honestly.
Yeah. There's it. A lot of it sounds a lot like, okay, this just sounds like shock movie to be shock, and then there's one thing in particular that I'm like, nope, launch that movie into the sun.
I know what you're talking about.
Launch that movie into the sun. I'm done forever. I need to go drink bleach. Like,
that reminds me. I watched this a while ago. I can't remember. I didn't bring it up. I watched The House that Jack Built.
I've heard that's very mean.
It's very mean, but it's also really interesting because it's just not at all what I expected. Like you spend a lot of time in this dude's head. But there's also like this idea that like I don't know. There's some meta level to it. Like he sees who the fuck's he see? He sees some saint or some biblical character who keeps following him around, being like, "Hey, you're a pretty good serial killer. I don't know why nobody's caught you yet."
The whole idea is he's being. I don't want to spoil it, but he's being led somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't do movies from that director. I just can't.
I will say, without giving away too much, like it goes a little Dante's Inferno on you.
It does. It does. I watched it because I'm an idiot, and I it's funny because I'll watch this, but like Hot Fuzz, I can't watch. Like I don't know what it is, but it's good. I like this
Now,
movie.
when you say it goes a little Dante's Inferno, at what point does he grab a telescoping scythe and fight off titty demons?
About halfway in.
That's the 51-minute mark.
Wow,
Okay.
I forgot
No,
that game existed.
I wanted to correct myself on one thing.
Mhm.
The original I Spit on Your Grave had no sequels. The remake had 2 sequels, and then a direct sequel to the original I Spit on Your Grave was released 2019 because it's 2021. 2 years ago.
Wow, they rode that Halloween continuity trick.
Because God is dead.
Why?
I don't understand. Because apparently the original director came back, and he's Israeli, which,
Whoa.
All right, there's some issues there. Okay, there's nothing I can really say to that.
I needed to correct myself. Still, 4 I Spit on Your Graves exist, and that's a travesty. That's a crime.
That is a slight against God.
Like, I saw that movie back when I was in my early 20s, back when I was just like looking for any type of like shock cinema, because whatever, 20s, and just like I don't care, I'm more hardcore than anybody else. And even watching that movie, I was like, oh no, it's happening again. Oh no, not again.
I also had a period in my teens, like late teens, where I was just going to the store and being like, "Give me this trash. I don't know what this is, but it looks ridiculous and over the top and silly." I think I watched a movie that looks like it was shot on a fucking shot on video, like a camcorder, and it was just called Violent Shit, and it was German.
Oh, that sounds great.
There are 3 of those movies.
Huh?
Yeah, and it's about this Jason Voorhees knockoff called Carl the Butcher, and it's just bad, cheap gore for 80 minutes each time. It's quite terrible.
Carl the Butcher. Oh my god.
And this might be one that none of you have heard of, although I'd be shocked if one of you hasn't. It's a movie called Terror 2000.
What?
It's a German film, and
sounds vaguely familiar.
Udo Kier is in it. It is the first movie I ever saw where I actually felt sick to my stomach. And it's nothing that's overtly gory. It's some other things that are happening in the movie. It's all in German. I don't know if you can even find a copy at this point. I'm sure Joe probably has 4 copies on VHS.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, if you get a chance, just look it up sometime and read a little bit about it. It's it's something I never want to have to see ever again. Like, it was something that I think my friend got either from Kim's Video in Philly, or he got it from an Exhumed Film Fest. And just
I'm looking up right now. I'm trying to see if I can find just a wiki. There's nothing. It's got an IMDb page, but
okay,
everything else that pops up on it is really weird.
I don't like how if you Google this movie, the cover art that it shows you is just a frame.
It's very unpleasant.
Yeah. And that's not a good sign.
Yeah, it's certainly a movie.
Got that swastika branded right in the front there.
It inspired a metal band, which is not at all surprising.
Okay.
And that metal band will go on to become Ace of Base.
Connor, didn't you see the sign?
Wait, what?
Didn't you hear the song about the welfare queen?
Yeah, which she's also wearing earrings that look conspicuously like the Star of David. Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah, did you not know that, Connor? In the video for All That She Wants, the song about a woman who's just looking for another baby so she can make more money. In the beginning, you see her putting on her various garb, and one of the things that you see her putting on are earrings that look very much like the Star of David.
Wow, I don't know how it took us so long to just put all the pieces together.
Yeah, well, the name of their band is very close to the Ace of Bases, which was a Nazi, what was it, a ship? Was it a submarine?
It was literally a base. It was so Adam Todd Brown is a writer who's been talking about this for nearly half a decade. He's the first person I remember bringing it up, and he only knows about the whole it's based off of a German-based thing because he was watching a History Channel documentary about it, where they were talking about like secret, forgotten, like I think it was like Nazi megastructures or something like that, and they bring up Ace of Base. And that's what got him looking into Ace of Base to figure out if they were Nazis. And they are. They very clearly are. If you look at the words.
One of them is like they had proof. Like he used to be in a Nazi or skinhead band.
Also, that dude has such a fucking villainous German name. His name is Ulf Ekberg. Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah. He sounds like a Bond villain.
I mean, that was probably his great grandfather's name.
Don't ever take me alive,
carrying on.
Ekberg.
Yeah. And they're Swedes, and the Swedes, they have an interesting history with the Nazis, to say the least. So yeah.
Wonderful stuff.
I don't know where we go from here.
I don't know.
You want to call it a smooth hour? Or do you want to attempt to spin this boat some more?
I don't know. I can go as long as you guys can.
I think it's.
I think a smooth hour is good.
Yeah.
We haven't had an early night in a very long time.
Yeah, let's be nice to our listeners and not bombard them with 3 hours of our bullshit.
Let's not do 3 hours of us talking about fingering.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's talk about Justice League for approximately the length of the movie.
No, but we can talk about fisting for another hour.
Yes, we can.
It's a shame the fingering stuff was all left off mic. And people listening to this are going to have no idea what I'm talking about.
I was trying to figure out a way to bring it in slyly.
I was too. I had something during the strapped in a computer thing, and I was like, you know what? No.
Yeah, I was gonna just try and pull an Andy or a Leo and just blurt it out while we were waiting for the 10 seconds, but nah.
Yeah, let's wrap, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. Movie Dumpster is doing Video Game Month. Hunter was on for Double Dragon. I was not. I was going through some shitty times for a week. All is good now. We just recorded Mortal Kombat, and then we have Street Fighter, the movie, also coming out this month. I believe we have a couple minis. So yeah, this month is gonna be pretty fucking fun. Also, the Mortal Kombat movie still holds up. I don't know if Street Fighter is going to.
That's the best one, though, dude.
Honestly, I think it's going to age better because Raul Julia's performance is like he's just this fucking diva dictator who runs around in bathrobes and shit. Has his fucking face put on money.
Tuesday.
Yeah, for me, it was Tuesday.
I saw that movie in the theaters.
Wow.
I love that movie.
I'm old.
Yeah.
I had those G.I. Joes. Those Street Fighter the movie G.I. Joes.
Yep.
Jealous.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I think I'm next. Lost Hero podcast. New episode should be out tomorrow. I actually am not sure what it's gonna be about. I think we said the Oscars, but check back on that when it comes out. Other than that, I have nothing else. Yeah.
Don't follow me on social media.
Fell asleep at the end of the episode. What a wreck.
I was trying to do it really quiet and like subtle, and I was like, don't follow me anywhere. But also go check out that Movie Dumpster episode I did. It's a movie where I'm pretty sure it was made just so Alyssa Milano can show off her ass.
Oh, like Idle Hands was for Jessica Alba. Yeah.
Yes. What else?
And every other Jessica Alba movie.
Well, yeah, let's be honest.
Yeah.
She was hired for Fantastic Four for her ability, okay? Don't tell me.
No,
that jumpsuit that's pulled all the way down to her belly button says otherwise, my friend.
But yeah, that's all I got.
I'm Eric Fedor Chick. You can follow me at Eric_Feeder on Instagram. There's pictures of dogs and food and cats and comics. I'm also floating around the Phantom Zone doing Phantom Zone things. You can also find me at my alt account, which is young_Kame. There's pictures of me hanging out with sloths and multiple toy sloths and running around with my Fortnite Nerf gun because I am eternally an 8-year-old who has never touched a boob.
Physically, medically, and legally, I'm an adult.
Outside of that, our friend and sometimes co-host, sometimes guest, whatever you want to call him on the show, Izza has been going through some rough times and still needs your help. You can find his GoFundMe either pinned somewhere on the Phantom Zone page, or I'm sure one of us has posted something about it. So if you go to his GoFundMe, please give what you can. If you can't, share it. And I'm sure some people have also posted links to his direct PayPal, because sometimes it's better to give the person the money directly, because GoFundMe, I thought, held the money up until the goal was met. Regardless, he's fallen on some rough times. He needs some help. And well, I mean, we all need help in one way or another, but, you know, be a good person. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Don't watch a Serbian film and tell other people to watch it. There you go.
Yeah, and we've made it really neat. We've made it really easy. The notes, if you check the notes in your RSS feed or whatever, it's been in there for the last couple episodes that we've done. So give it a shot.
Yeah.
So,
or send the money to me, and I promise I'll send it to him.
Right.
I promise. Yes.
Yeah, he won't take any off the top. He guarantees it.
Nope. No finder's fee whatsoever.
Yeah. All right.
Well, bye,
shortest
everybody.
episode we've done in 5 years. Bye.
Bye, people.
The real fingering was the friends we made along the way.
Yes.
That would be the 4 other fingers that turn into a fist.